Hi folks, welcome to Community Pulse. I'm your host, Brian Lamore, and today's show we'll be talking about an event that's coming up. You'll see this little brochure all around. It's the Helena Studio Tour of Artists. They'll be at 19 locations, over 36 artists around Helena, and you'll be able to actually go into their studios, see how they make art, see the art that they've made. You might want to buy some if you'd like. 36 artists, whatever medium you're interested in, they have it. And this is brought to you by the Helena Arts Commission. It's coming up September 22nd and 23rd, which is a Saturday and a Sunday, starting at noon to 5 p.m. So you're going to have to go fast to catch them all. At the phone number on the screen or at the website, you can get more information because as we rattle it off during the show here, you'll hear it pretty quick. Of course, we have some wonderful guests from the Helena Arts Commission. On my left, we have Jim Gilman. You're a ceramic artist. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here. And then on my right, Vivian Hayes. You're actually the chair of the Helena Public Arts Commission.
That's
Welcome
right.
to the show.
Thank you.
But now, Vivian, we're talking about the Helena Public Arts, and we have a commission. Is that a city commission, county commission, state commission?
We're an appointed commission to the Helena City Committee and the commission, and we advise people on what public art is available. We promote public art in the Helena area and help people locate the many wonderful public art projects we have around town.
That's great. So you probably know all the artists in town.
A lot, but there are not all, because there are a lot.
Well, the phone number on the screen and the website, the artists can contact you. I know they're hard to find because I heard something the other day that said that a lot of artists in Montana, their full-time job is doing something other than art. So it's important to have someone like the commission help out. How do you help artists out?
Well, we find out about different people, and we actually sponsor some projects from time to time. We're always short of funding, but we would like to get more, and you can see our projects all around town. I don't know if I should list some of the more recent ones. The mural at the Windbag Arches, honoring the Chinese community, is by Lance Foster. We did that recently. And we also did the traffic circle at the Butte Sanders Traffic Circle. The little snails that go around that are made from found materials, honoring the industrial nature of that neighborhood. Those are two of our more recent projects.
Well, that's great.
But there's lots of others. Oh,
yes, they're everywhere. And you know, imagine if someone was to pick up this little booklet. I mean, boy, it's pretty cool. All the different art that we have, and Art-Us. All the mediums that they use. It's just amazing. What are some of the mediums that, if somebody attends this, that they can see these artists actually making and working in?
Okay, well, we have ceramics, jewelry. We have painters, photographers, sculptures, and other mediums, including printmaking.
Yeah, and calligraphers, and someone here with a camera, and bead makers. I mean, it's just amazing what kind of art there is.
That's why they call us the best little art town.
That's right. There's a lot of us here. Well, now, Jim, tell us more about the Open Studios tour. You're an artist. You do ceramic art, and I see your picture in here. So your studio is going to be opening. That must be pretty exciting, huh?
Well, it is kind of fun. And, I did it last year as well. And we had a number of people come through. It's a good fundraiser. And that's one of the things I want being on the committee. I want to emphasize that this is a fundraiser for the Helena Public Art Committee, because there's no money. Obviously, there's no money that the city's putting in. We're all volunteers.
Yes.
And trying to promote the education of art, I guess, so everybody knows about all the artists in town. And then, of course, when we do any project, where do we get the money?
Yeah.
Right. And we do Chalk Up Helena. The Helena Public Art Committee does this Open Studio Tour. And by and large, those things that the Public Art Committee does is somewhat of a break-even kind of event. I mean, each of the artists that signed up to do this paid advertising money to have the booklet printed.
Oh, yeah.
In light of your question, though,
yes.
I guess I could say that as an artist, I get to share how I make stuff with those people who want to attend this. And maybe I'm a born teacher. I've never taught, but for me, there's no secret.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's interested in ceramic arts and comes to my studio and asks, how do I do X, Y, and Z, I'll tell them.
Oh, that's
I mean,
great.
you know, so I think it's a good benefit for the public to attend this and see how they do stuff.
Yeah, particularly ceramic artists in your field. That's really neat. You mentioned you did it last year. How many people came through your studio, do you think?
You know, I didn't really. I should have counted them.
We had a lot, as I remember.
we end up drawing the prize tickets at my studio too later. So we had a fair number of people come through.
That's cool. That's really nice. Well, it's a great idea, opening up studios, because I imagine, you know, you see the finished piece of art that individuals have, but you'd love to see the process that went into it. It's got to be a lot of fun. Now, Jim, we have some photos here of different types of art that's available. And, you know, we start with this first one. Can you describe it to us?
That is a photograph that Paul and I kind of Bassini. I'm not pretty sure how to pronounce that, but he's going to be on the tour.
Oh, that's great.
So you can get to see how he, because today, in this day and age, people are taking photographs and then they're doing, you know,
they're editing.
They're editing. They're doing stuff through
Photoshop.
Yeah.
I've got it. I have several versions of it, and it's very nice. And they're really making some wonderful art to see how creative.
Right. And there are other photographers on this tour. I mean, with 36 artists, obviously, there's going to be some others. So you can get and see their process.
Oh, that's really cool. Then this next one that we have here, this is actually I don't want to say it's a gate. It's so much more, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's Chip Clausen did that. And of course,
Chip's
he's done other work that's around. I'm down by the library. You can see
none of the above, some of the above that he
that
did.
work down there,
that's in the park above the library.
Oh, cool.
That's his work.
So this is a neat gate with ceramic work on either side of it. Now, is this for sale or is this an example? I mean, I don't know how you'd transport this.
I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that. He does ceramic work and concrete work, so it's going to be a mix.
A mix would be, you'd want the artist to install it and transfer it.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you? Well, that's neat. I think Chip was on the show at one time.
He was.
Right?
He's been on it.
Okay. And coming up, you can always start shopping for Easter now. Or these are Christmas eggs,
those
too.
Are actually,
so
now, Jolie Hawkins does those. And those, this is somewhat interesting, because she'll be in my studio this year, again this year. And she those are Ukrainian eggs. Her grandmother taught her how to do that. It's a lost wax dyeing technique. The detail is incredible.
Yeah. You know, for some reason, I remember reading something about the lost wax egg dyeing technique, and it is very time consuming. There's a lot of time in these eggs.
And if you look at the brochure and you talk to her, I mean, this process goes back over 2,000 years.
Wow. Wow, that's neat. So you can get some of these eggs. Are they pretty fragile, do you think?
Oh, yeah. They're beautiful.
Eggs are always fragile. That's how we define
Okay,
fragile.
Jackie Duxbury. That's, I think, beadwork, or, jewelry beadwork.
Necklace. This is jade, isn't it?
Looks like turquoise.
Turquoise? Oh, that's it. Turquoise, yes.
Yeah, and I think she's in a group with a bunch of other folks that are showing at one of the sites. I think there's like 5 or 6 artists.
I know there's people that turquoise really has a following. I know a number of ladies. It's like, wow.
I like it myself.
Yeah, I know some guys that have some pretty big things too. It's pretty fascinating. So she makes these. You'll be able to see how she makes it, see her examples of her artwork too at one of the local studios.
That's right.
One of the 19 sites in which 36 artists are going to be residing at. Great. And our next picture looks like a sunflower.
That's a painting by Mary Bergman. And Vivian, do you know what the medium, is that oil?
She works in oil and acrylic, and so it's one of the two. I can't tell, but it's a painting, definitely.
Oh, cool. Well,
And she's in a studio with Cindy Rose.
Oh, neat. Well, before I came to the studio today, I was watching a bunch of birds eating the centers out of my sunflowers. Migrating birds. So sunflowers are really nice. Okay, and this is a great teapot.
Okay, that's Teapot by Emily Free or Emily Free Wilson. They have over on Bowler Avenue. They're going to be on the tour. And that group, she works with her her brother, and her husband. I mean, they've been on the cover of Ceramics Monthly.
Yeah, well, I recognize this pot. I think it's been at the Holter Museum, or some of this design work, not this particular pot.
Yeah, something for kids too.
And they're having a thing the same weekend. They're having a thing for kids. You can drop your kids off noon to 5, and they're having a tile project. What I understand is that the kids can do a tile there, and I guess the ceramic studio keeps one, and they get to take one home.
I want to do that myself.
And then, of course, they also just, if they want to make pots or whatever, hands-on.
And that's at Free Ceramics.
Free Ceramics,
is the
they're
name
on
of the
Boulder.
business.
They're on Boulder Avenue.
So they'll do childcare, and the children will maybe come out being wanting to be artists. More ceramic
this
artists,
is
that'd be
the
great.
doll.
That's Shelley Lee, and it's a doll. The photograph's a little bit fuzzy, so again, she's with a group of artists.
Yeah.
You can see the diversity. There's all kinds of.
So you're gonna be able to do one stop there, and I'll see a whole lot of people. There's, I think, 7 artists.
Oh, that's great. And then the last photo that we have is, I can tell this is quilting. I have friends that do quilting.
Yes, that's
Fabric
Fabric
art.
Art, Jennifer Pryor.
Wow. And the detail in this is
It's amazing.
drive me crazy.
That's really beautiful.
I think I have the fingers of a ceramic artist. I couldn't do this.
And I don't know if that photo's been blown. I don't know if that's zoomed in and that's larger than real life or
Actual
not.
size,
Oh, I bet so.
don't
I think all these little dotted lines are stitches.
Yeah.
And so that's a fine detail of bigger piece. So, well, these are neat, wonderful examples of what we have. But now let's talk more about the children's activities. The part of the children's activities are designed so that the parents can go on to the studios and maybe buy them Christmas presents earlier, or themselves something.
Maybe.
But that is childcare to generalize at the Free Ceramic site.
Well, I'm not so sure how they emphasize that. I think they do. I think they've been doing some after school stuff, but it's ceramics. I mean, one of the folks affiliated with that is she's a school teacher.
Yeah.
And she can handle however many children they want to put in there. She's good. It's a good place.
I'd like to be around them 60 hours a week. Huh? Good for her. Well, now, Vivian, let's come back to what the Helena Public Art Commission does, because you're raising funds here. How do you apply the funds, and how do you operate in support of artists in the area?
Well, we usually don't come out with a lot of extra funds from this. We try to get grants. We try to do different things. We have a very small budget, but mainly this Open Studios tour is to emphasize the artists in the community and bring them in to the group. And just by going around and visiting these people, you can see the creative process, which some people don't realize how complicated it is to do some of these things. I should mention that this is the 4th annual tour, and we used to have just one day. And one of the questions people had was, could you expand it? Because some people wanted to go to all the studios. Yeah. Some would just pick a few and they could get it in the one day, but many people wanted to visit all the studios. And as we added artists, it just got bigger and bigger. So when you've got over 30 artists and 19 locations, some in the outlying area, you really can't do it all in one day. So this was our way of making it possible for people to communicate with even more of the artists in the area.
Well, that's great. And Jim, I imagine, you get to go into the studios. There's a logic to a studio. One ceramic artist might have a different logic than somebody else, so you can actually go and study under that person just by being there.
Oh, I've got friends who have the studio envy.
Ooh, okay.
The fact I even have a studio, in Helena, sometimes that's just the case. Well, some people are working out of their basement or their garage,
or in their kitchen counter like me.
So yeah, you can see the layout. I mean, when Sarah Yeager is a potter, right? And when I built my kiln, I was picking her brain, going over, measuring her kiln, asking her about her burners, getting some of the technical stuff that I needed in order to build my own kiln. So we share.
Sure, you learn,
so,
and you're better because of it. Well, now there's a number of locations, Jim, around the area in which individuals can get tickets ahead of time, but you can also call or go to the website and get some information there. Jim, can you tell us where the tickets are at?
The tickets are available from any of the committee members. Vivian and myself have, you know, you can go to the website, obviously, and get tickets. There are the local galleries, the Bear's Den, Birds and Beasley's, the Ghost Art Gallery, the Holter Museum of Art, the Jim Stevens Gallery. There's a few more here. There's a new one, the Gallery of Montana Veterans Foundation. I think it's new, just opened on Fuller.
It's on Fuller.
The Thurman Larison Gallery, and then the Upper Missouri Artist Gallery.
That's great. To generalize, they're all downtown?
Everybody but, well, Jim Stevens is out on 11th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
And the Bear's Den
Yeah.
is Helena Avenue. And
Okay, it's moved.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's neat. Well, let's also talk about, you know, there's some special prize drawings, Jim. What are some of the prizes, and how does an individual get into the drawing for them?
Getting into the drawing, you buy a ticket.
Yes.
That's pretty easy. The tickets are only $15. I say that, and some people may say that's expensive, but
It's
I
2
mean,
days.
It's 2 days.
10
It's
hours,
36
yeah.
artists. There's someone who's interested in something could learn a wealth of information.
Yeah.
So we've got Toys Tie, dinner, Silver Star dinner. There's a 1-year membership to the Holter Museum. Dinner at On Broadway, and I think Benny's.
Benny's.
Oh, wow. That's great. Those are
Gift
wonderful
certificate from-
prizes.
They are.
So, Vivian, are we able to get tickets the day of the event?
You can.
They'll be
Yeah,
at the
that's-
various studios, maybe?
Well, they should be, and some Jim Stevens, and some of them will be open, but you should be able to get them at the last minute. But it's there's a lot of good prizes, and it's really good odds for the drawing. So we're hoping a lot of people will buy tickets and take in this wonderful experience.
And I imagine the viewers are saying, well, how do I know which 19 locations to go to and who will be at those locations?
Once you get the booklet, every artist is listed. There's a map in the middle that will direct you to all the studios, and you can go through it and pick and choose, or try to see all of them if you want to.
One of the things I was mentioned earlier before we started this interview is that booklet is online, is my understanding. So if somebody
okay.
didn't want to shell out the $15, they want, well, who's going to be there? I mean, they could go online and get a glimpse of the artists that are participating.
Oh, that's great. Well, now we're drawn to a close on the show. I'd like to get some of your final thoughts. Jim, let's start with you. What would you like our viewers to remember about the Open Studio Tour coming up September 22nd and 23rd?
You know, I think it's a really fun event, and I mean, I'm going to give a plug for free ceramics, because then then there's a place you can put the kids in a way, you know, and carry on and do this. I mean, I like to see this event. I think people should make a weekend of it and go out to dinner and, you know, support the economy in other ways.
Go have lunch, get a cup of coffee, and go touring around. And
Or perhaps win a dinner. You could.
win a dinner. Even better, yeah. And Vivian, what would you like our viewers to remember about this event and the Helena Arts Committee?
Well, I want to urge everyone to attend this. It's really worthwhile. You'll learn a lot about the different artists and find out what a special place Helena is as far as the art community goes. And we do have a vacancy or two on the Public Art Committee, and we would be happy to have someone fill out an application and join us. We have a lot of fun. You meet a lot of people. It's volunteer work, but it's very rewarding.
Oh, yeah, and you're making art for Helena, which will last beyond our lifetimes.
There's a lot of good art in Helena.
Great. Well, I'd like to thank you both for coming on the show today and for all your volunteer activities and making Helena a better small arts town.
Thank you for having
you.
us.
Great. And again, for our viewers, you know, we're talking about the Open Studio Tour, the 4th annual. This year they have 36 artists in 19 locations around the area here. You can actually go in and see their studios and see all the different art that they make. And like Jim was saying, you have a question about ceramics? Let's talk about it. He'll show you what you have a question about. But you know, we have this great little booklet. It's kind of like the map of where to go around the area. If you get your tickets at a variety of locations besides the website, but also major art stores here in Helena, and also the committee members, they'll get you a ticket. I hope to see you there. For Community Pulse, I'm Brian Lamore. Thank you for joining us.